Hey everyone, today I want to talk about support heroes and how in certain maps, certain close quarters maps, you need to play the angles, you need to play the evasion game in certain situations, you need to decide when to maximize your healing capabilities and when to maximize your survivability. And the factors that play into this and how you can really lock into a mode of play that allows you the maximum amount of survivability, which translates into the maximum amount of healing. If you're dead, you can't heal, essentially. And this is something that I see people take too many risks sometimes, and I'm guilty of this a lot. You get caught in the moment, you get caught in the heat of battle, and you don't take into consideration the fact that the amount of time it takes you to respawn and run back to the front lines is a lot of healing that didn't happen. As the support, you're the rock, you're the sustainability of the front line, and if you're gone, things are going to start to fall apart. And so this video is really taking into consideration survivability, playing certain lines of sight angles as a healer. And I'm playing Lucio in this particular game because Lucio, not only is his healing based on line of sight, so it's really tricky to line up your angles to try to hit the maximum amount of people, especially when people start spreading out. And in a map like Ilios, where there's a lot of line of sight breaks, you have to set up your angles to try to hit multiple people, but at the same time you need to try to set up your angle to avoid raising the ire or getting in the direct line of sight of a sniper or a Pharah. There's a lot of long range possibilities here for the enemy team. And so this is an interesting map to take a look at. There's two things that you'll constantly see me switch between, and they're really the hierarchies of healing. And one is, how can I maximize my healing output? With Mercy, you want to make sure that you have line of sight on your critically injured people so that you can quickly jump to them and quickly get them topped off. With Lucio, you want to make sure you have your number as high as possible, you're healing the maximum amount of people. With Zenyatta, you want to make sure that your Harmony Orb, you have the line of sight on them so it doesn't return to you. So line of sight with healing is very critical, and it's something you always have to keep in mind. But the secondary part of the hierarchy is survivability, and this is where you have to try to play the angles to the point. You have to almost look at it like a 360 angle of how can I put myself in a position that I can hit the maximum amount of people but cut off the enemy's line of sight. You don't want to expose yourself to long range damage, you don't want to expose yourself to splash damage, you want to maintain enough of a distance and enough of a line of sight break that you maximize your own survivability, because you know that their frontline players and their long range, especially their long range players, are going to be gunning for you first. If they can take you out, you're the juicy target, you're the priority. It's something that sometimes you don't consider, because especially with snipers, you're maximizing your healing, you're worrying about their front line shifting back and forth, and you're constantly having to worry about enemy flankers trying to ambush you, get behind you. You're trying to maybe stay behind your Reinhardt, stay behind your tank cover, your absorption. There's a lot of factors to keep in mind, but I would argue that survivability and playing those angles of line of sight is more important than anything else. Finally, when things do start to break down, when the flankers do get in your lines, or the front line is pushed beyond your front line and the pressure's on, you need to think about evasion. Mercy, you need to look for that long-range target that's in your back lines, somebody that's already retreated, somebody that's away from the fray, and you need to jump to them. You need to be able to leap to them to sustain your own survivability. And with Lucio, evasion is key. This is why people tend to not target Lucio in the back lines as much as they possibly can, because you'll see in this game, he's a slippery guy. He can get out of tough situations. He can use that wall climb, he can use his speed boost. He's able to evade better than any other support hero. Just really take into consideration when you're playing support these factors of angles, playing the right angles against enemy fire, playing the right angles to heal as many people as possible, and then start thinking about evasion more and more. Really start considering your best angles of escape and how you can extend your life as much as possible. As always, guys, hope you found it useful. Have fun, and I'll see you in game.